1, 2, 3, and we are live. How's it going, everybody?
What's going on?
Let's see. Let's go over this great group of people we got out here. We got Hilljack Catfishing. What's up, my brother Hilljack? Chrissy Brown. Town Chrissy Brown is in the house. Mike Irvin. Hooks and Hammocks. Hooks, how you doing? Jason Lamb. Downtown Ernie Brown is with us. Mike Irvin. There's Uncle Jeep, my Palmetto Island co-inhabitor. Let's see. Kelly, Bullock Experience. Catfish and Crappie. What do you got, Creole?
Let's see. I see Mr. Sogo's in the house. My arch nemesis, Mr. Ryan Bortz. What's happening, brother? I see him in the house today. I see P City Catfishing. What's going on? Mr. Dale Hayslip. Miss Alicia Barnett is with us this evening. Let's see. I think that about catches us up. And please forgive me, y'all, if I miss anybody. But yeah, Mad Catter just dropped in. What's going on, brother? Stan, it is Friday. It is Friday nights.
1 second. There's just one. We got SK Crappie Catching Adventures.
Gotta holler at SK.
That's right. Can't forget SK. Appreciate you joining us. He does an awesome show Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. Man, I tell you what, if you want to learn panfish and you want to learn crappie, you go SK's Crappie Catching Crappie Talk at 10 p.m. Eastern. And you got Fish Nation, you are going to pick some stuff up. So y'all check out SK if you haven't yet. Anyways, my brother, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
We are winging it tonight. So as everybody can see, right here, right there, we have the one, the only Miss Paula Smith with us tonight. What's happening, Paula?
I bet y'all said thank God when he said that, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was going to do your thing and Stan's thing. I can't get that. Yeah. I got to learn this.
You got it.
The only person I know that has a fishing rod named after them. That's what I'm talking about.
I know. Ain't that awesome?
Oh, I would have just passed out. You'd had to bury me if that had been me. I can tell you right now.
I couldn't tell you the when they come in, the first time I seen them, it was just like, I don't know. It was just like catching a monster of catfish.
and Paula, I'm with you because I remember you sent me that picture of that rod when you first got it, and I was not kidding when I told you that is the most beautiful rod I've ever seen in my life. Like I would hate to bring it out fishing. I want to get one and just hang it on my wall and just look at it.
Well, I've done that, and I've carried them fishing too, but I've been out there with bleach wipes, and it's crazy because if you tell me to come inside and clean house, you probably wouldn't like the result or the answer. But
yeah.
I'm in my boat now out here fishing, and I'm out there cleaning my rods at the same time. It's like, what's wrong with me?
I don't begrudge you a bit. Trust me. The man, those things are beautiful. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but your signature rod is basically based on his flathead rod, right? Same length, right. Same action, correct?
Correct.
Okay, yeah. So I know a lot of people were asking about that in the chats and everything else. They were wondering if it was a completely different action or if it was actually because apparently everybody loves the flathead rods. So they were very excited to know that it's the same action that they get in the flathead rod.
Right.
Okay, good. Very good.
The flathead rod is my favorite because it's a little bit shorter, which is, I'm a short person. I don't know. I can take that flathead rod and go to cast, and I can cast all the way across the Tennessee River, and I can the blue too, but it's more like, a struggle with the blue.
It's a long rod. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I use the blue still, but I don't know. The flathead rod is just, I don't know. It was like made for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And you see me, I'm tall. I'm over 6
Right.
foot. So that long blue cat rod, I'm a real big fan of that blue cat rod.
I love them both.
Yeah, I find personally, and that's what I tell people, the action of that blue cat rod, when I describe it to people, it's got the backbone of a heavy, but it's got the tip of a medium heavy.
Right.
It's that I almost call it a heavy, medium heavy, which for the way I fish, fast current, big weights, all this stuff, it handles it no problem. I absolutely love those rods.
Yeah. And I was asked if you had your own rod, what do you want? What do you want your rod to be? And I wanted to have a great backbone, a light tilt. But that was very important. But I wanted a grip.
Yeah.
That I didn't have to re-grip. You know what I mean? While you're reeling, you don't want to have to re-grip. So Chris's rods were perfect because they hold that grip, and when you're in that zone trying to reel in a monster, you don't want to have to re-grip and stuff. You want to keep concentrating on what you're doing. So I love his rods, and to each his own. But for me, Chris Flores just makes exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And it works.
And I know for me, because I have many different types of rods. I've got rods with every type of grip there is. I've got his with the rubber. I've got the EVA foam crisscross, and I've got some with cork handles. And what I really like about his is when you put them in a rod holder, they stay vertical. They don't roll on you. They don't move. Wherever you put them, even like me, in certain situations, I have to turn the reel sideways because I want to point my rods out the back. It'll stay that way. It's the only grip I've seen that'll hold that reel. Especially with big pin reels I have, it'll hold them sideways without falling over.
I was telling somebody the other day, about sponsorships. Whatever I use, it's because I use it. I like it. I use it. It's not because it's a sponsor. What factors in don't ever represent something that you don't like or you don't use. Always represent what you truly use. And Chris is so funny. I ordered 4 blue cat rods from him when I first met him, and then he called me, or I called him, and he said, how many rods would it take to make your boat exclusively Muddyriver catfishing rods? And I said, 12, but you're going to have to hold your horses because I'm poor. I thought he was wanting me to order, 12 rods. And he started laughing. And he said, no, I'm going to send them to you, and you be exclusively Muddyriver. And I was like, heck yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I love his rods, and that's all you'll see on my boat. Now, my partner, Peel and Drag, he's got a Steve Douglas rod or whatever he calls it, and another rod. I don't even pay no attention, but, anybody's welcome to come on my boat and use what they want to, but if we're live or we're videoing, it's got to be my sponsors kind of thing. If it's my boat, out of respect.
Not trying to cut anybody off, but we had some more great people come in here. We got Thomas Littlepage has made his way in. Thank you, Thomas. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well. We got Skins and Scales. Good to see you, Skins. Mindy Hogan. What's up, Mindy? Always great to see you. And Lee Reed. Thank you. Catfishing, Katie Collins. There you go, Paula.
Katie?
Catfishing, Katie Collins. It is a beautiful rod for sure. So God bless her. Michael Murillo,
attorney at law.
I own her fishing rod. So there's a bunch of people with Paula Smith rod out there. We love it. Dale Hayslip.
What's happening, brother?
Okay, and I think the Avid's in the house. Bob Fins and Fines. Great to see you. Thank you. Think we're caught up. Eric, hey Eric, great to see you. That's Big Mike's brother there.
Okay.
Awesome. All right.
Oh, good crowd tonight.
I don't know if we said it or not. Mark, our good friend, Catfishing Crappie, is out there. And I think we got Epic Catfish, Tim.
Yes, we do.
Also. Mark, for those that y'all got to, there's only going to be a limited time left, only a few more days to get your Catfishing Crappie gear. I don't have the link there, but it's going to be a while before you can get some more of it. So now is the time to go over there and get that order. But
that's right. Grab it up.
Maurice is in the house. Awesome. Appreciate y'all coming in with us.
What's happening, Maurice?
And Paula, I had the pleasure this weekend. This past weekend, it was the first time that I actually got to use a Muddyriver rod.
How'd you like it?
My goodness. Everything that y'all said, plus some. Had wonderful. Can't thank people enough for support, and I was able to get a hold of 3 of them by an awesome person. Doesn't want to be named and stuff, but thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. That was exactly what y'all said. When you grab that grip, I love the way that feels because it's not moving. It's right there. And I had the medium. I'm a big guy, but even the medium rod was. We caught everything from small channel cats. Stan 3 caught his 52-pounder on the blue cat. I mean, not blue cat. The medium
rod,
cat rod, the Muddyriver cat rod, the new medium, and it handled from 3-pound channels up to that 50-something pound blue plus some.
Ooh,
so it'll handle more than that.
Awesome, just awesome. The biggest difference, and I think, and I've said this before, the biggest difference that I noticed, aside from all those other little things like that, is we were predominantly ugly stick because that was affordable. That's what we could have. Both Stan 3 and I were fully decked out with ugly stick catfish rods. And the big difference is the ugly stick for casting was rated to 3 ounce. Well, you know, when you're fishing in the James River or the Mississippi or the Tennessee, 3 ounce, you're using more than that in a sinker.
Oh yeah.
So even the medium Chris Flores rod is rated to 8 ounces. And the difference to go from be casting one right next. That was what was great because I was using one right next to the other one. The casting, when you cast a Muddyriver rod, it's just smooth. It's just boom. There's no you don't have to lob it or arc it. It's really just unbelievable.
Now, Paula, if you can only talk your boy Chris into making a bumping rod.
I know that's my next thing. I'm gonna work on him.
You work on him. If Chris Flores ever makes a bumping rod, I'm probably gonna be divorced. She's just that's gonna be it. I'm gonna go broke. I'm telling you.
I know it. Fishing's expensive. Fishing is
not quite as expensive as race cars. I will say that. This is not the most expensive hobby I've ever had. Not by much, but it's a little cheaper. A little.
Well, I don't know. It's pretty expensive.
So speaking of fishing, well, I mean, I know you've been out fishing a lot already. You've put some really, really nice fish in the boat. So just kind of run us through, you know, like I said, coming out of that cold weather period, what you've done, some of the fish you've put in the boat, and better yet, what are the fishing plans for a little bit later?
Well, it's like I can't remember catching a fish this year because I haven't caught one the last day or two. But I've been catching. Ain't that crazy?
Poor Paula.
I know it. I'm just having withdrawals. But I've been catching around 30, 40. I did hang one. We were out fishing. A friend of mine from Montgomery County come over, and I took them out because they haven't been out on the Tennessee much. So we went out on a night fish. And he caught his personal best blue. I think it was 40-something pounds.
Wow.
And then my rod went down. I mean, it went down. And I thought, oh boy, that's a good one, and just as soon as I got a hold of it, he was stripping drag from the time he took it to, I mean, even when I couldn't get it out of the rod holder. That tells you something when you can't get it out of the monster rod holder.
That's
I
right.
could raise it up, but I couldn't get it out. And I knew if I got it, if I got it up and he ever give me that 2 or 3 reels, I had him. And he gave me that 2 or 3 reels, and I started trying to gain some leverage. And man, that I felt him go off. I felt him, God Almighty. I almost called TWRA and told them to come, that there was a body hung down there, and maybe they'd go diving or something and catch him. But I reeled in, and I had half of a hook left. I mean, I was,
I was gonna ask what happened.
Half a hook. I mean, it was no error in your line or your leader, how you set up or anything. He was just a monster fish. I mean, he was a monster.
What
it was
size
a
hook
flathead.
did you have?
Huh?
I'm not gonna ask the brand, but what size hook did you have on?
A 9/0.
A 9. He broke a 9/0 hook. Wow.
Yeah, and it was not. It was not for me trying to get him in. It wasn't from him. It was just the. I mean, he was big.
Yeah,
it was a flathead. You can tell. You know how we can tell. We can tell.
Oh yeah. I know.
It was nighttime. It wasn't a grab it and go kind of thing. It was he took it, and you could feel. I told my partner, Peel and Drag, I always tell him, can you not touch your rod and feel the fish is talking to you through the rod? Can y'all hear it? Can y'all hear the fish? I can. I mean, I can hear him going, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. But anyway.
You're the right kind of crazy. You're the right kind of crazy. Remember that.
Let's hope so. But
for all of our sake.
Yeah, really. You sure don't want to get on the wrong side. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But that was probably my biggest takedown so far. The 84 is pretty nice, but I think this one would have broke a record. I really do. But I mean, that's fishing, I mean,
hey, that's if it'd be easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly. I mean, everybody thinks we load our boats up, and we go out there and we just, bam, you catch a fish. It's not that easy. You have to find them. You got to set up on them, your conditions. I mean, there's so many factors in fishing that, I mean, it's pretty in depth.
And if nothing else, and I know Stan, he feels the same way I do about it. I'm sure you would agree too, that what people don't get to see is, I'm going to say, especially in your case, is the years and years and years of hard work, skunk trips, broken equipment, lost fish, that gets you to that point.
Yeah. I mean, there's I'll bring it up. I'm sure it'll come up anyway. The Sea-Ark Invitational last weekend. Was it last weekend or the weekend before?
This past weekend, I believe.
Okay. So that's how busy I am. I mean, we went down on, I think it was Thursday morning or Wednesday morning. I can't remember really. I mean, there's money right there that you're driving down there. You've got your motel stay, your food, everything. We went out and pre-fished the day before. Really, we were just going out to mark places. I'm not big on pre-fishing. I don't like sore lipping them. But it was pretty rough out there the day before. Yeah. And, you have these, you have to take everything into consideration. It's nobody to blame. There's, I can't blame Sea-Ark. There's nobody to blame. It's just, if you're a good angler, and I'm not saying I'm a good one, I'm just saying if you're an angler, there's factors you have to put in there. You have to keep up with the weather. I do that here. If we have a north wind on the Tennessee River in my area, you don't get on it. It's just like getting on Wheeler with the west wind. You don't get on it. But that morning, probably, I've been up all night watching the weather, hoping it would shift or something that didn't. But the line of storms that was coming in first was coming in at 80 miles an hour with hail, lightning, tornadoes. What?
I gotta stop. You're saying, and I'm not a good one. You've got your own signature series rod.
Yeah, I caught that too.
80 pounders. Come on.
That's kind of like Dale Earnhardt saying he can't drive.
If you're not a good one, what chance the rest of us have? I mean,
I don't like to put myself up, anywhere. I'm no different than neither one of y'all or my neighbor, wherever they live. I'm no different than anybody. I'm fortunate, I'm grateful, and I'm very humbled. I love. When I started, I've been fishing all my life, but when I really got into this monster fishing, I went in it wholehearted. I would come home, and of course, most everybody knows my husband's a game warden. I'd come home and I'd ask him all kinds of questions. I was so curious about everything, and he would tell me, if you really want to know, you'll research it. He wouldn't give me the answer. Yeah. And I'm grateful he done that, because then I started researching, and then I couldn't stop, and then you apply the things that you learn. And one of my main things that Saturday morning was, I'm the captain of the boat. I'm responsible for anybody that's in that boat. And you got 80-mile-an-hour storm headed your way. You're in the hottest zone. I just had to factor in everything, and it was not worth the risk. It was not in our favor. Yeah. So, one person told me to get my big girl panties on and bring it, and I come that close to saying I don't have big girl panties because I'm not big, but I made the right decision. I don't regret the decision I made. I don't blame Sea Ark. I don't blame Tom, Dick, or Harry. I don't blame nobody. It's just a decision I had to make. And
that brings up a good point. Safety. If you feel that the situation is unsafe for you, regardless of what anybody says to you or how you think somebody's going to react. Creole, good case in point. Iron Cat, Friday night, knew there was severe weather in the area. My broadcast brother there still went out to the bank with his truck. He knew he could sit in the truck safely, and waited till the next day till those storms went through. Paula, you took every, you just didn't make that and say, oh well, I'm not. You looked at every single possible bit of material, every bit of whether the things you could check out, and you felt it wasn't a safe situation. Don't push it. If you feel that there's a safe situation, let it go, man. We can fish another day.
Right. And it might be because I'm older. Some of these younger, I don't want to say men, probably just anglers in general, they get so much pressure put on them, sort of like peer pressure. They got to save face. A lot of them would have, there was one young boy that was staying at the same hotel I stayed at, and I worried about him all day Saturday, because I thought he's not old enough to have the experience, first of all, of the conditions, because I've heard the stories. I've heard Ken come in, in the past, and the stories. I didn't want to be a story for him to, So, it wasn't just about me and my partner too, but I've been on Wheeler, and it get rough like that, and I knew automatically what to do. I knew if that storm that was rolling in, if the ground lightning started, I had to get to the tallest bank, because the lightning's going to strike the bank before it hits me, the tree on top of the bank, hillside, or whatever you want to call it. because I couldn't get back to the ramp in time. I also knew that if the rain didn't stop and the wind didn't slow down, that we was fixing to start getting some big rollers. And I got inside a little bitty cove, just got lucky. You know, I searched and found it, got inside of it, and I was protected from all the elements other than getting, you know, wet. And it rained so hard, I had to run my bilge pump almost the whole time, that, you know, probably 4 hours that we were. And the girl and her boyfriend that fished with me said, well, can we go out there? The rain's these up, you know, and I knew we couldn't go out there because it was still windy. And I shined my flashlight out there, and I said, you see them rollers? I said, that first one's going to take you up, but when you come down, that second one's going to take you all the way down. So, I mean, I've been in that situation, and that was brought up too, that if you can't fish other water, stay in your own. I've been in every situation there is to have on water, I promise you. You know, I've sat right out here at the down the road where I caught that 88-pounder with Ken back last year in a freaking lightning storm for, I mean, it was god awful because we couldn't get back to the ramp or whatnot. So he went straight to a tall hillside, you know, and of course I was scared to death. I thought, well, I'm going to die right here on the bank. You know, lightning's going to strike me. But you just have to, I'm saying this to the young anglers, you've got to really take all this and absorb it, because you're going to run into this. If you're going to stay in this, you're going to run into it. Yeah. And it's more important to be the big guy and pull out than it is to save face. Yeah, because you don't want to be one of those stories.
Sometimes you've got to leave your ego at the house.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It has eaten my lunch, you know, because I wanted to fish that tournament so bad. But I wanted to, you know, live too. So
I think Creole's having some of those. Oh, there he back
I got
in.
It.
All right. Hey,
okay, so that was me. Okay.
Since we're stopped here for a second, we had a bunch of people come in. There's our good friend Hagen Grubbs out there. Hagen, appreciate you coming in. Thank you. My good friend Judy Booty Catfishing from New Mexico. He is driving to Arizona right now. He is driving to Arizona. I said he is driving to Arizona right now. But Judy, great to have you in. Thank you so much. He does an awesome job. Check out Judy Booty Catfishing, North New Mexico anglers. So he does a great job out there. Country Boy Catfishing, great to see you. Fishing UK Glasgow had a live today. I just missed it, but looked like he was in a beautiful spot. Great to see you. We love Paula. We're getting. It's amazing how this, you know, our little catfishing family has grown like internationally. It's amazing. There's a whole bunch of UK anglers that have come over here, and we're over there in their lives, and we got Australia and South Africa. It's just amazing that we can, you know, we sit here and do our little thing, and we're reaching people across the planet. It's just mind blowing. But Catfishing Dreams, Brandon, great to see you. Country Boy Catfishing had his live today. It was a little tough fishing out there, but he did a great job. Big Slim, great to see you. I think I caught up, and if I missed anybody, there's James Albo. James, great to see you. Uncle Lee Reed.
He forgot what state I lived in today.
Who did?
James.
James. Well, come on, James. Can't you tell by that talk? That's a distinct accent right there. You want to let him know, Paula?
What? Well, I mean, he messaged me. He said, what state do you live in? I thought he was making a joke. And I went, ha, 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 Tennessee. And he come back and he said, I couldn't remember. I thought it was Arkansas. And I said, you've been up too long. You need to go to bed.
And there's a recent, a newer family member that we have here, Kentucky Catfishing with Sean Bell. We've been emailing back and forth. I've got a couple of, we're going to talk rigs a little bit later, just briefly, because because I've been getting a lot of questions on what rigs we use from the bank and the boat, and so we're going to just briefly touch on that a little bit later on. And Creole, you and I have talked about having a whole show with getting people set up.
Yeah,
with,
absolutely.
That kind of stuff. So we're gonna touch on that briefly. But Sean Bell, great to have you in. Thank you so much. And I think that we are caught up. Avid, of course, Avid out there, great supporter. Great to have you in, Avid. Now, Paula, with speaking of that, like people asking questions about rigs and things like that. You know, there's a lot of people that have fished before, and they're, let's say, maybe like a beginning angler. They've gone out when they were kids with their parents and caught bluegills and things like that, and they may have done a little bass fishing, or, you know, but all of a sudden they catch this catfish bug. Do you have what would be your best advice for somebody that wants to kind of get into this and kind of start targeting those bigger catfish, say, that we try to target? Do you have any
Throw your bass and fishing pole away. No, I mean, if it's something that they love, go after it. Go after it 100%. You know, don't listen to the haters. Don't listen to the, you know, the negative. Just focus on what you want to do and don't give up. I mean, if it's something they love, they'll know what to do.
Yeah, that's good advice there. And you know, you start out simple. Pick yourself one or two rigs that you want to use. You know, listen to some of these shows and get some general information. You know, a lot of people say, you know, study the like Google Maps and Google Earth, find things, and Navionics to find the deep holes, and, you know, try to learn a little bit about what catfish behavior, you know, the different.
I don't know. I think if they start out trying to learn all of it at one time, they probably turn around and run. You know, because when I first started, I really didn't. I mean, I knew a lot, but I didn't know, like, the sonar. You could turn on Navionics and it would be like, I knew that them little fish was swimming around out there, you know. But Ken was kind of right there, you know. As far as operating a boat, I mean, I could operate a boat, but could I operate it safely? I doubt it. But now, you know, step by step, you learn. And of course, I like I said, you know, anything I choose that I love or want to do, I go after it. You know, if it's mowing the yard, you know, if I have to weed eat with my hands, you know, it's wide open. You know, and I'm gonna be the best at it, and I'm gonna, you know, be the fastest and whatnot. I'm always, I guess it's competition. I don't know, but, you know, don't try to learn too much at one time, because it's a lot to learn. You know, it's not just deep holes. It's the little bends in the river, little catch points, you know, especially if you got a heavy current. You know, that's where them fish, you find their highway, you know, and then find the rest stop. I mean, that's, you know,
to
compare it to.
It's a good way of looking at it. Absolutely.
Right. So
look who we had join us in here, Paula.
Chris Flores. Chris, we need a bumping rod.
Yeah, I need a bumping rod. I don't know about everybody else. I need one.
I need one too. So you need to, like, get with me and we can come up with a bumping rod.
We had some more people join us. We got Fishing Chick in the house. Great to see you there, Fishing Chick. Will, great to see you in.
Fishing with the Chad. The Chad is in the house. The party can begin.
The Chad is here? Oh, yeah, there he is.
The Chad is here. The party can begin. Chad.
That's right. Love. I can't tell y'all how much the support, how much that means to us. Everything else going on right now, and y'all take the time to be here with us. We so appreciate that.
Now, Paula, a question I wanted to ask you earlier when you were talking about different bodies of water, weather conditions, and things like that. We I find we have a lot of beginners that watch the show here, especially I'm talking like level 1 beginners. Take me, for example. I have never taken my boat outside of the little area I live. So I've been on this river for a long time. I've been in the little lakes around here. I have never gone to any body of water out of state in a boat. I have never done that in my life. What advice can you give somebody like me and others when you talk about how different bodies of water can behave in certain weather conditions? What are some of the things that people like us can look for if we're going to go on a body of water that we've never seen before in our lives? How do you prepare to safely go on a body of water that you've never been on?
Well, first and foremost, have your life jacket on.
Absolutely.
You just you go out there with common sense. You don't go out there showing out, definitely. You go out there with common sense. You're out there to fish, enjoy yourself, and catch fish, not out there to show out, look, I got some new rims on my truck, and I'm going to whip in here wide open and sling your boat next door. You just be smart, and like I said previously, learn to swallow that pride and that ego, because you're going to run every angler. I don't care who you are. I'm probably getting a lot of hate out of this. Every angler out there is or has run into bad conditions, and swallow that pride, swallow that ego, and use your common sense.
Absolutely.
Like I said, there is nobody to blame for me pulling out of that tournament. I had to make a decision, and I don't regret it. It is eat my lunch. It's eat my partner's lunch. I talked to him a couple of days ago, and he said he was mad. I said, "What are you mad about? That tournament?" And I'm like, you're going to have to put that tournament behind you. That was last weekend. That's just every body of water is different. If I leave today and come to your house, Creole, your water is different. I'm not going to go down there and act like I do know it when I don't. But I'm going to go down there. I'm not going to be scared to go because I can handle water, but I'm not going to go down there and show out. If I get in a situation, before I even get in a situation, if y'all think about it, when we get in our vehicles, what's the first thing you do? Put your seatbelt on. Start your vehicle. Of course, when I drive out of my road, I don't have to get on one side because it's just a gravel dead-end road. But when I pull out on that other highway, I got to look both ways. So when you get in that boat, use your common sense. If you don't know how to drive your boat, can't handle other waters, then don't. Wait till you can. It will come.
Yeah. And I know for myself, that's something that, because I just bought the boat that I have. It hadn't even been a year yet. So only now are there certain places I'm comfortable going, because now I know my boat good enough now. I'm confident enough in it that I know where I should and shouldn't go with it. It wasn't like that when it was brand new. I was cautious. I was like, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to do this, not going to do that. And it's all about just take your time, take it a little bit at a time. Because I know for me, that monster of a river we got down here, it will make you pay. If you don't have it together, it will make you pay dearly. And there's people every year, unfortunately, lose their lives on that river because for some reason they either weren't prepared or weren't watching what they were doing.
Right. Y'all hear me talk about the Duck River a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the winter, of course, that's when the Duck River is the lowest. I had some people ask me, how's the duck look? Don't go, because I know it. I know that river. I know it better than any body of water because that's my favorite little spot.
Yeah.
But in the wintertime, you could blindfold me and I could take you up and down that river. Just just by cover the water up and just by the landmarks, but it's very dangerous. I've been on a boat with Ken, and he hit a stump. And I look at Ken and I think, my God, something must be wrong if you've hit a stump. But if you don't know that water, you have to take your time.
Yeah. And especially, this is something I appreciate work. Yeah, right there, Stan. I was fixing to tell you to highlight that comment. You see that word, complacency?
Yeah.
That right there hurts more people every day in every situation than any other thing. Complacency. And for those who don't know what that word means, is you get too comfortable and you drop your guard.
Well,
very, very good comment.
A lot of us know, some of us don't. Your line of work is you're in the safety business.
Yes. Yeah. Construction safety.
Construction safety. I managed restaurants for 20 years. And what we had to do, and I'm sure you're big on these things, and when I was in the military, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I worked on F-16. When I was working the red ball shift, that was the jets would go out, they'd fire up, they had to go out, they would take their sortie, come back, you'd have to turn them and get back. Everything you did, even though you did it day after day after day, there was a checklist. And you had to go through that checklist. In the restaurants, we had to check every single piece of equipment to make sure it was at the right temperature. Multiple times a day. All the coolers had to be, all the coolers had to be under 40 degrees. The freezers had to be 0 plus or minus 10 degrees Fahrenheit. All the grills, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you had to check it. But you know how many times where you think, well, it's been good. We've never had a problem with this. And the one day you get behind or whatever, like, oh, I'm running behind. I'm not gonna. Well, guess what? That's when that cooler all of a sudden stopped working, and you got to throw out thousands of dollars worth of stuff.
That's right.
Another thing that, like the Duck River, the Tennessee River here in my area, anywhere, any body of water, anytime you have a storm, a rising current, a rising water level, the water changes, the river changes. Yep. You've got stumps that's there that wasn't there before, logs, so each time you go out is a whole new time. That's the way you have to look at it. You can't go out there. It's like, like I said earlier, you could blindfold me. Each time we have a different storm or the water rises or something, a flood, it's different. I know it's going to be different. And I go out there with the mindset that this water's different. A lot of people say, well, you just don't want nobody on the Duck River. I don't care. It's not my river. I'm just trying to tell them the river is dangerous.
Don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Right. The tournament tomorrow's on the Cumberland River. I fished the Cumberland River. It reminds me of the Duck River a lot. Now, when I carried Chris Flores' daughter fishing on the Cumberland, we had the Cumberland is a very narrow river. But we had a barge come by, and it was loaded down. And he probably made 5 foot rollers, 5, 6 foot rollers. And those rollers on a narrow river don't have anywhere to go but back across and back across and back across.
They do this.
Right.
Yep.
And I knew that I couldn't hit them head on, that I had to hit them at an angle and kind of roll with them. And younger son.
I want to give you a hug.
Okay, it's my grandson, Hayden. He's saying hi. He wants to give me a hug.
What's going on, buddy?
Hi.
But he, anyway, that's an example. Like if you're on the Tennessee River, Kentucky Lake, it's wider, and then a barge comes by or them waves get started. They've got further out stretch, so they're not going to get so big. They're not going to come back at you. You have to be alert the whole time. You can't go out there from a all-nighter for 2 or 3 days, and get on that boat, and you can't. You can, I guess, but you're putting not only yourself, but you're putting everybody out there in danger.
That's right.
Fishing consists of, from just like you were talking about, when you unload your boat or go back to load it back up, what do you have to do? You gotta when you unload it, you got to put that drain plug in first thing. I know what that's like not to. You know, you got to unhook your straps. You got to, you know, I mean, there's so many variables in every step of this fishing thing, and you need to know it. You know, not only do you need to know it, your partner needs to know it.
Yeah.
So, and I've been letting Peel and Drag do a lot of the, like he'll drive the boat up on the trailer, and it's pretty big, so he, you know, it's real hard to load. I'm gonna have to work on him with backing the trailer up. I'm gonna take him out here in the field and let him just, you know, that's just it's something you can't teach. They got to get in there and learn it.
That's
so
right.
I've got a wide open field. He can learn it. Never, and I don't know if y'all have heard me say, never stop being willing to learn. And I'm not just talking about the fishing itself. I'm talking about every aspect. You have to have it all connect. Am I making any sense?
100%.
Yes, because Paula, from the angler that's just starting out to I'm gonna bring him up here. We got somebody when we do about the same time every week. We bring up our good friend Epic Catfishing. So we're gonna bring Epic up in. But even Epic Catfish has said that
he's not a beginner.
But that's what I'm talking about. From the beginner all the way up to somebody like Epic, he says, you know, you listen to people, there's something that every single one of us can learn from that next person. You know, maybe something that person says may trigger an idea in your head. You know, there's always something. Everybody's got something that they contribute, and you know, that's what I think is so great about the fishing community is that it doesn't matter. We can all go out and catch fish, whether you're male, female, doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, how we all got the same chance. We put that bait in the water. We all got the same chance catching that fish. So I think it's awesome. Tim, Epic, great to have you in again tonight. Welcome.
How's it going, everybody?
What's up?
You know, I was just listening to that safety stuff, and I was thinking to myself, I am not that guy. I never was that guy. You know, yes, I respect the river and all that stuff, but I bought the thickest production boat I could get with a jet, and I decided I was going to find these crazy rock-filled fast water rivers because I had this theory back in the day when May rolled around, you didn't catch big channel cats on that main river. They all disappeared somewhere, and I went after it hard. So the first time I decided to go up one of these rivers, I found myself at a rock pass where there's rocks the size of dump trucks, and I saw one spot of fast current that was only about 7 foot wide. Well, my boat's 8 foot wide, so I decided I was just going to kick that thing up on its corner and do a hard hairpin, and sure, I made it through it. What I didn't know is on the way back, downstream on a jet doesn't steer near as well, and I put a dent in the corner of my boat the size of a muskmelon. And I thought we were going to sink in a 30-foot hole that exists right below that. And my friend of mine that was fishing with me at the time, he possibly even crazier than I am. But anyway, he had for 7 miles, he had to steer the boat by grabbing the back of the motor like this because it sheared the steering cable off. So, and I said in chat, there's never been a piece of water I didn't want to fish. Now, there's some that I probably shouldn't have, you know, and if I have people with me, you know, if I have my wife or my friends or, you know, any customers or whatever, I'm way more careful. I'm always wary. But, you know, I don't know. I just wasn't built that way. If I see a spot I want to fish and it looks dangerous, I'm going to be real cautious. I know I've got my life jacket on now. Nowadays I do. Years ago, shoot, I used to jump little low-head dams without a life jacket. I don't know what my adrenaline junkie problem was back in the day, but I'm a lot smarter now.
Now, kids, This is the part of the show where we say, "Do not try this at home."
Right.
Yeah.
Do not do this at home. I got stuck below a dam one time because there's an island that separates, and I shot through 3 inches of water down this little bitty corridor here, and we were fishing, and I didn't notice the water dropped about a foot. Well, there wasn't any more water. It was like that. And so luckily a guy came out that was working at this dam. He came out and he said, "Yeah, I'll open the gates for you, not by much, but just by a little bit. I'm only going to give you about 5 minutes." And I'm telling you what, I jumped rocks the whole way through, and I ended up poking another hole in my boat because we went to another river that day. And I'll tell you, a jet is one squirrely creature with about 150 gallons of water in the bottom of it. And I said, whoa. But we ended up pulling it up on shore, draining the water out of it. And all I had was a bungee cord, a candle, and a hammer. And I fixed that hole, and we kept fishing. So whether it was just young, excited, got a fish type guy. Because Paula was talking about them guys. I don't know how she says it, but them guys that show up and they got to go fast and they got to do all this stuff. My boat's not all that fast. It's not all that fancy. But I'll tell you one thing: I am there to catch fish. But just like everything else, I've constantly worked over the period of years to figure out what is the best way to do things. I've got a roller system on my boat because I used to chew the side of my boat up so bad by tying off to the side of, dams. And, there's a spot called Dead Man's Hole that I fish a lot. It's called Dead Man's Hole for a reason. And, you just got to be pretty wary of that stuff.
The point I'd like to bring up with that, though, Tim, is you didn't just go from, all right, this is my first day in the boat, I'm going to go to Dead Man's Point.
No.
You spent your time on the water.
I did like everybody else. I started on shore.
Right.
I started off the shore. I started fishing. I used to drive my parents' vehicle before I had a driver's license down to the river because they wouldn't take me. So they actually let me drive it down to the river. So I think I started when I was 14. Other than that, it was a 3-mile bike ride and all that crazy stuff. And, I had a little 2-man bass boat to start, them little plastic ones with a trolling motor. And I went clear across Snatchwine Lake and got caught in a thunderstorm, and we barely made it back. It just wasn't a fast boat, but those little 2-man bass boat things, they're not too good in 2-foot white caps.
No, I imagine not.
But yeah, I have gotten a lot smarter. I don't do as many risky things anymore. But I've figured out that some of them you don't have to do. There's things that you absolutely don't have to do, and you kind of settle into that whole maturity of where you say, okay, that right there, I want to fish it, but it is not worth fishing at this water level because it's not. Level, it's too high. There's too much going on. You can go up there and tool around. Now, one thing I will say about a jet is there's no skeg in the water. So since there's no skeg in the water, that current can I can turn my boat like a big piece of floating styrofoam. It's all under power, but there's nothing sticking in the water that's going to shoot you sideways or do any of that other crazy stuff. So, Creole, I saw pictures of you sitting in your new net. And I'm telling you what, folks, Creole himself fits in that. There it is. There it is right there. There it is right there. And
I literally sat on the floor in my house, and I sat inside this net and pulled it up over me. I'm 6'1", 300 pounds. I ain't no little dude. So I don't know if Steve Douglas rates these nets for 300-pound Cajuns, but that's what the 150 stands for. Is he rates them lifetime warranty, 150 pounds of fish, and we fully plan on testing that and beyond. Hopefully,
I would agree with that, and I heard Roger this week. Roger on Muskrat Adventures. I know, Tim, you talk to Roger a lot, and you two Creole and myself. I think, Paula, you will attest to this. The best thing you can do from when you want to go up to that next level of catching those monster fish is to be prepared to catch those monster fish. You're not going to get an 80-pound, 90-pound fish in a net this big. It's not going to fit. You need, if you're planning on catching fish,
Yep.
just like Epic, we were talking about barges or heavy underwater cover and things like that. Well, you're not going to do that with 20-pound tests. You need to upgrade that. How important, Paula, how important do you think that is? Moving up, going from catching fish to catching that next level. Is that something that you went through, Paula?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. When I caught that 88, we had a net that was, it was probably, it wasn't really big enough. It definitely wasn't strong enough. People don't have to run out and buy the most expensive things or anything. That you can get by, but if you want to net them and get them in the boat, I recommend like we make our own sinkers. You got to cut corners somewhere, so we make our own sinkers, which probably saves us enough a year to buy that net. You see what I'm saying? And that's pretty important. Lots of things are important. Your hooks, your line, everything ties into the next. It's like I said, it has to connect. But yeah, and that's pretty important.
So, yeah. Paula, this is the first live show I've been on with you, and
I know
your stuff, and you're very dedicated, and I like your passion. I like the fact that you're out there and you're pushing, and you can tell you're serious when you're out on the water. Just out there soaking baits just to have a good time. You're out, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I personally enjoy the people that are going out there, and that is their goal. Their goal is to go put the biggest fish in the boat they can for the circumstances, and I really do enjoy that. I just wanted to tell you that.
Well, thank you very much. That means a lot, because you're like a hero. that really means a lot. But I do love it.
I just told you earlier, there's things people should not follow me on.
Well, Tim, that's why I wanted to pull you up here and keep Paul up here, because I knew that you would appreciate. I didn't think you two have ever been on the same screen together, and one thing that now, last year I'm a dude sitting on my couch. I can't get off my couch, and now I got two of my good friends are Paula Smith and Epic Catfishing, and my brother Creole over here. It's just like.
Hey, Tim's on my list of people, who do you want to go fishing with, before you kick the bucket. So he's on my list. And,
am I on your list?
Yes, Grant, come here. Hayden said, am I on your list?
Awesome.
Come here.
You might be surprised to hear that, there's a lot.
Hey, his slippers off.
There isn't, if there was anybody that I've ever talked to in any of these, in these chats, in the thing, if they wheeled up in my driveway and say, hey, Epic Catfish, you want to go fish? I'd be like, yeah, let's go. It's the catfish. Everybody that's putting out and striving for what their goals are, it's great. It's great. I've never met a catfishman I didn't like so far.
There you go.
Some fashion or another.
It's on your phone?
Yes, can you see your brother? This is Jace. This is my youngest grandson.
Oh.
Tell him what you're going to grow up and do.
I don't see Jace.
Here, let's get you up here. Let's see. Tell him what you're going to do when you grow up. You going to go fishing?
I don't see Jace.
What kind of fishing?
Catfishing.
Catfishing? Yeah?
That's what I'm talking about.
I see Jace. Can I go watch this in the living room?
Yeah, but don't mess with nothing. All right, behave. When you messaged me today, I didn't realize that today was the day, and it was like, oh man, I'm supposed to pick the grandkids up, and I've got to do this, and I've got to do that, and
We got
I just
it.
told him,
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, we don't worry about that. We got it. It just look. It just makes it that much more interesting. That's all.
So is that static caused by me again, Stan? My terrible connection.
You had it good for a little while.
I know it, and then it just sort of goes out. But anyway, I'll make this quick so I can get off here and let you guys talk. So Jeremy and I were talking about that net that hit, and a lot of people might think that net size is a little bit ridiculous, but honestly, I do believe that there are fish that are going to need that net, and if a big fish to a lot of people is 48 inches long, 4-foot fish. But wait till you get into the 5-foot fish. Wait till you get into the 5.5-foot fish. And we were talking about the biggest catfish ever recorded on this continent was in the 1870s. And they sent a curator from the Museum of Science and Industry out of Chicago. And they sent him down to the Mississippi River, and he went to a fish market and bought 2 fish. Those 2 fish were catfish. One was 315 pounds. The other one was 330. That was reported in the newspaper. He bought them. They put them in a pine box. They put ice over them, and they sent them back to Chicago on the railroad. The only problem is the railroad, the train broke down, and it melted, and they never did salvage them, unfortunately. Now, that's been reported by several people. Now, is it? I don't think it's like an legend. I really don't. But at one time, before the dams, the potential for catfish, and before a lot of the pressures that we have right now, the potential was there. I still believe we do have potential for 200+ pound fish, albeit a small percentage, albeit they may be hard to get to, they may be hard to land. I'm not saying I believe in the Volkswagen-sized catfish below every single dam in the United States, because I certainly don't, because I fished a lot. But do I think that since fish have indeterminate growth, and they also have a small proclivity for gigantism, and I've talked about that before, because they start to get those mega proportions. They don't look like the regular silhouettes. I won't bore you with a bunch of science, but generally speaking, I don't think that net is too big, especially where you fish, Jeremy.
I got a question for you. Miss Paula is big on trying to get legislation and things like that changed to help protect our catfish in the waters.
Yep.
And you and I have talked before about how happy you are to see how cat fishermen have kind of changed, and we've kind of grown. Do you think that'll help the size of the fish?
And people have to be a little, I know everybody wants to be nice, but at the end of the day, every single DNR across the United States, they're all political, whether they say that or not. They're all a political entity. And it starts with grassroots people like us that have to not only talk about catch and release, but practice catch and release. Because really, it should not be lawful for somebody, even one of us, to go get a $35 license, buy a bunch of nets, and run as many as we want in the river and take that shared natural resource that takes years and years to get, and then go sell them to pay lakes for personal gain. It just shouldn't happen that way. State forests don't work that way. Farm fields don't work that way. None of that. Deer don't work that way. Nothing works that way. Catfish is pretty much one of the last things that works that way, and it's because these entities cannot imagine trying to fix it. Yeah, and none of us like to take away people's liberty or their personal choice or their rights or whatever. But really, what's happening on the Ohio River, tragedy. I mean, a tragedy. The Kentucky area where those pay lake guys are. I mean, they're putting Pele giants, as big as they can get, 100 pounds, 80 pounds, 60 pounds, 50 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever. And they're selling these pay legs, which are nothing but big mud puddles, and they will not last an entire season. They die. They just replace more. And I kind of stay away from all of the specifics on that because it just makes me a little bit angry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're not alone there. That's
No.
That's why I wanted to bring it up, because I know that's one of the things that Miss Paula spends a lot of time on. Is
we've sent a proposal in for the state of Tennessee to make catfishing a sports fish. You know, I mean, I don't agree with the commercial fishermen are allowed to have a 34-inch. If they have one, they have to kill it. Why kill it? Just let the daggum thing go, you know? So we're trying to get that changed also. We've already got it sent in. I hope it goes somewhere. If it don't, then we'll just come back at them at a different angle. But I agree with what Tim said. I believe that there are fish out there that hadn't been caught, just like the wise old grandfather or whatever, but there's fish out there. I don't believe the Volkswagen deal. I don't believe the divers and all that crap, but there's fish out there that hadn't been caught. And, if we don't start protecting our fisheries, our water systems, it's all going to be gone. And, my grandkids are not going to be able to do what I'm doing. Just like skipjack, that's one of catfishing's biggest baits. Now, when skipjack run here, our steam plant has shut down in my county, so the skipjack are not as prevalent. You go over to Cumberland City, and everybody goes to Cumberland City, not only locals but out of state. And I mean that's their preference. I mean I can't stop that. But if we don't watch what we're doing, we're going to start having a skipjack disappear because we're not managing. Gizzard shad. Gizzard shad is one of my favorite go-to baits. It's my number one go-to bait. They're hard to find right now, and that's weird. It's not right. So if we don't start doing a better job at taking care of our fisheries and our water systems, like manipulating the water levels because it'll kill the grass out, and I'm just going to go out and say it, TVA. In my area, if they start seeing milfoil, they will raise the water level to drown it out or kill it or lower it one. And that's wrong because you're manipulating the water systems. You're manipulating Mother Nature, the ecosystem. You cannot do that. Like I said, I mean, if things don't start changing, you're going to start seeing it's going to be harder for everybody to get skipjack. It's already hard right now to get gizzard shad. I mean, you've got what you take out, you have to put back.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to keep the sport going. Just like I seen a post the other day, somebody caught a handful of little flatheads. I mean, some of them probably wasn't a pound, just little bitty, and they was out of the water and headed to their kitchen. It's like, man, they need a chance. They're not big enough to eat. I can get into this big time.
Well, I know that.
But you see, it's interesting because, growing up the way I grew up in the area I grew up, and and a lot of it is still like that now, is that we've got so many catfish, so many of everything that you can take whatever you want. You'll never hurt everything. You'll never hurt a thing. People have been doing that for decades, and yes, all that is true. But like you said, ask the guys on the Ohio River what they think about those statements. Like you said, you'll hurt it eventually. Now, for some reason, we have basically zero legislation for catfish in my area. It's just basically it's a free for all. You can do whatever you want. for whatever reason, the fish markets are no longer buying big catfish from the commercial guys anymore because they're realizing that they're losing money on them. You know, they're not as profitable, you know, in meat per pound of fish as the smaller ones. Now, our cutoff is probably, I don't know, 20, 25 pound on the blues. Now, unfortunately, the cutoff size is much bigger on the yellowcat, on the flatheads, because the meat is still good even on the big ones. There's a big market for that around here. There's a lot of really, really big ones that get caught in nets and sold for meat. I would say the cutoff around here is more like 40 pounds on the yellowcat. If it's 40 or over,
you know how long it takes a flathead to get 40 pounds? You know how long that takes? They're like
time.
Yeah, you know, just like the blue cat, they can't reproduce until they're 8 years old. I mean,
Wow.
Think about that, 8 years. I mean, if everybody would just learn about what they're doing, you know, learn about what they love, their fishing, the blue cat, the flathead, the channel cat, learn about it, then you would really start getting this passion of how am I going to save these fish? Like the commercial fishermen around here, they're going to get more per pound if they take it to a pay lake than they would if they took it to a fish market or you know, the fish buyer. You know, pay lakes, they're starting to pop up in Tennessee. I don't like it. You know, maybe we can get ahead of it. But one thing I do want to point out is you can't go to these commission meetings, bust the doors open and say, I'm here and you're going to listen to me, because that's going to get you thrown out and the door's locked and you ain't never coming back in. But if you go to these meetings and say, let's sit down and see if we can come up with something that'll work for everybody across the board. You know, you might not get 100% of what you want, but if you walk away with 60% or 75%, ain't that better than zero? You know, that's a step forward. You know, next year I'll be back to get my 90%, and that year after that I'll get 110%.
Yep.
But you know, you got to work to get it. You can't just barge through and say, "This is how it's going to be." I am Paula Smith, and this is how it's going to be, because it ain't going to work. You know, it's going to take a joint effort among all anglers, all sponsors, all boat makers, all net makers. You know what I'm saying? It's going to take all of us to work together, not butt heads, not bash anybody. Work together. Let's get these regulations. Just say, for instance, if the regulation that we've just put in gets passed, the Tennessee River runoff is in 7 states. All right, that means the Tennessee River runs into 7 different states. If Tennessee passes this regulation, then those 7 states would almost have to follow suit, because that's the same water. You see what I'm saying? So they would almost have to follow suit. So almost like a domino effect. You know, you knock down 1 or 2 or 3, and then the rest of them will start coming down. But we got to work together. We can't just be. I mean, you see this bashing constantly, or this arguing about, like, say, the ACA, or Tom went down the road backwards, and I flew over him and jumped. You know, you can't keep arguing about it. Work together. Find a way to work together, and we can knock this. I mean, we can knock this into home field. You know.
Yeah,
it's always going to work.
And it's weird because the battle that, let's say, we're fighting here in Louisiana is so different than some of the battles y'all fight in other states, because and this is going to sound strange to a lot of people, but I did not know what a pay lake was. I'd never heard that word until a year and a half ago, when I started watching YouTube and hearing other people talk about it. I mean, it's just that's not something we have here. The trophy catfishing is not the religion it is in y'all states around here. It's just it's not that big of a deal around here. I'm one of a handful of people who does trophy catfishing, the way we do it, catch and release, all the CPR and everything like that. So it's a whole different world for me hearing y'all talk about it, but it's the same because the catfish aren't treated with the respect. It is a commercial fish. It is a food source. That is our main thing here, is basically the fish markets and harvesting to eat, and that's where ours comes from, is they just want to take them and sell them for meat. The fish are going to die, so.
It's like Tim said, there are fish out there. I believe this wholeheartedly. I think there's fish out there we've never caught.
I know there is. In my area, for sure, I know there is.
I think so, too. I think Tennessee, right here in my backyard, I could pull out the state record, possibly several state records. I think they're there. I think they're in every body of water. But
absolutely,
if we don't protect them, it's a dying. And I'm like you. I didn't know what a pay lake was a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
But I've got a list over here somewhere. There's a lot of pay lakes in Tennessee, if you want to know the truth about it. A lot more than you would ever. Yeah. And nobody seems to care. There's one in the county over from me that just started last year. I don't understand it. I don't understand why something can be so legal but be illegal. They're allowed to take, you can't do anything to the commercial fishermen because they're allowed to have one fish over 34 inches, but they got to kill it. Well, don't kill the dadgum thing. I don't know. You can get so passionate about it that.
And we're not trying to bash the commercial fishermen.
No, because there's some good people.
Really good. They want to protect that resource, and they are following all the rules, and they will not keep anything over 34 inches. So there is, and they'll set their nets the right way so that, you'll see some commercial fish will totally block that whole river. There's no chance for the fish to get past. I mean, technically, as far as I know, they're supposed to leave. If the nets are supposed to be put at a certain angle in the river, there's supposed to be a certain amount of passageway for other fish to get through. You're not supposed to put nets straight across the river. It's supposed to be at an angle. There's a bunch of different things. So, just like anything else, there's ethical, there's people that do things right, and there's ones that do it the wrong way. So, what Paul is talking about is the ones that are not
that's right.
trying to protect the fish.
Right.
They're not trying to.
And another thing that people don't want to take into consideration, and I'm not by no means trying to take up for somebody that can't take up for themselves, because they can, but it's the state of Tennessee. In most counties, they're only allotted like 2 wildlife officers per county. Well, they can't be everywhere at one time. If it's duck season and we're still out there catfishing year round, and you've got deer season, duck season, right now it's turkey season. So they can't be on the water, on the land, they can't be everywhere at all times. But they've got an 800 number, or you've got a county number that you can call and report what you see. Report it. They will get it, and they will go investigate. Ken and I, when he first retired, we launched out here behind the house at Mason's, and you've got it's almost like a highway. When the water's down, you've got a certain area that you better launch and stay in that path to hit the main channel. We went across through there, and gill nets are supposed to be visible where you see something. And automatically, when we got wrapped up in, my prop got wrapped up in it, we both knew, shut that motor off. A lot of people might not know to do that. That's $3,000 or $5,000. Right. Who pays for it?
Well,
who pays for it? You do.
I know here in Virginia, the gill nets, you got to have a marker at each end.
But you don't. There's not a law that says they can't put them here, and over yonder. There needs to be a law. I think it's I don't know what it is, but what they were doing that day was not illegal. It should have been illegal because they blocked the highway, the main trail to the main channel, because the water at that time, we were going to, I guess it was Winter Pool, and you only have a certain area that you can go through that. But anyway, I mean, they had it pretty much blocked. And then I got kind of scared because it was two different boats and they come up on us, and of course Ken told me to stay set down and keep my mouth shut. But, and I didn't. But anyway, it kind of scared me. Then somebody swarms up on you, it's like they were corralling you, and I thought, this is kind of scary.
I'm not cutting you off. I see Sean Bell was out there. He was one of the ones that had asked me some questions during the week. I hope I can catch him. He said he's 4:30, comes early, he's got to go, he's going to watch it back. But for myself, one of the rigs that I like to use from the bank, one of the rigs that I like to use best is a chicken rig, a dropper rig, a high-low rig. There's a bunch of names for it. You can use it to catch everything from panfish to saltwater fish. But you got your sinker on the bottom, and depending on what time of year it is, you go up a certain amount of inches. You got your first dropper loop and your first hook. You go up another certain amount of inches, depending on the time of year, to your next hook, your next dropper, and then up to you can put 3, 4, depending on what your laws are. But that was the question.
That's cheating.
That's what he was. Well, if you're going for bait fish and whatnot, like the sabiki rigs, that's how the sabiki rigs work.
Yeah.
It's that same basic thing. But when I'm fishing from the bank, that's what I usually use. I was using that this weekend catching channel cats. That's the rig that I had used. In the wintertime, now that the water's warming up, that's why you see that first loop is up about a foot, 12 to 16 inches. Because as that water warms up, they're going to be up off the bottom. Now in that wintertime, when that water temperatures drop down in the 30s and they're hugging that bottom, there's the sinker. You're going to want that first dropper, 4 inches, so it's right on the bottom. And that's why I like this rig, because you can set those hooks as far apart, close together, or whatever. Depending on where you see the fish are suspended up off the bottom, you can raise or lower those dropper rigs. Just tie yourself a new rig to put it as far apart or wherever you want those hooks to be.
And what do you call that? A chicken rig?
What's that?
A chicken rig?
Yeah, in saltwater they call it a chicken rig. But it's a dropper rig, a high-low rig, a Kentucky rig. It's a bunch. There's so many different names. It's basically your sinker on the bottom, a couple of dropper loops, and hook. Yeah, in saltwater it's called a chicken rig.
Cool.
You giving Paula ideas now?
No, I don't know.
What rig do you use, Paula? What's your basic go-to rig?
Just a Carolina rig. I try to keep it pretty simple. I like using planer boards. You got to use them at a certain time. I like anchoring in the winter. I like dragging, springtime, dragging, drifting, bumping. I'm going to do some bumping with Larry Muse this year. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
And Mike Green, Larry, me and him fish a lot of tournaments together. Pickwick's not far from me, and it's not far from him. But I keep it kind of simple. The faster, the better.
I'm like that too. I used to use all kinds of different rigs, and now that I've got a little more experience, I've kind of narrowed down what I like to use. And same thing, basically everything I do except for bumping is essentially a Carolina rig. The one thing I think I do different than a lot of people, I don't use the sinker slides anymore. Like I don't use a sinker slide or like the weight that slides on the line. I use a 3-way swivel with a clip, and then I put my weight on that. That way my weight stays on my line in that position. And the only reason I like doing that now is when I'm casting. I find sometimes, especially with those big baits I like to throw, the sinker slide will start walking down the line and it'll cast funny. With that 3-way, it keeps everything in place and I can cast it a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other reason. That's the reason I like using this one from the bank, because that sinker, that heavy weight is on the bottom. So when you cast it out, you can get a lot more. It stays in line. It's one of the best. It's one of the best casting rigs from the bank. So that's why I like to use it. Stand 3. Everybody swears by the Carolina rig, and I'll use them if I'm in the boat or whatever. And I know this is really good too if you're suspend drifting. Yeah. You put your sinker on the bottom, and the hook's up. That's it's a pretty simple rig. Fishing with the Chad, we talked about him before. He has a very good video on how to tie that dropper loop knot, how to make that rig. So y'all want to check out Fishing with the Chad for that. That's I actually tied it a little different before I watched his video, and his video actually, it's a much stronger knot tying it the way that he shows you. So there again, we go back to listening to other people and learning new things. So, yep.
Now it's your turn.
But I definitely follow. Regardless of what level you're at, keep it simple. Keep yourself a few techniques, proficient with those techniques, and then move to the next. That's
Yeah, you can overcomplicate everything. Keep it simple. Keep it as we tend to get out of range. Go back to your basics.
Yep.
Are you trying to get on here? Yeah. Now this is my fishing. This is when he loves to fish. What? But
You broke your toilet.
who did?
James.
Okay, I'll come fix
No,
it.
there isn't any water at all.
Okay, I'll fix it.
There's big
Hayden.
toilet paper shoved down in it.
Anyway,
Biggest potato.
we just need to don't get too big for your pants. Go back to your basics when you start. When you start getting rattled by everything. So, hey, let's just go back to the basics. Hey, stop it! I won't get you no milkshake.
Oh, do I get one, Paula?
I'm
a good boy. I want one.
I don't like them, but these boys do.
No.
I bet you he likes chocolate. You like chocolate shake?
Do you like chocolate ones?
Yeah.
No, what kind?
I like chocolate ones.
Oh, you do?
Okay.
Yeah, I like chocolate ones.
Okay, we don't talk about the baby.
Me too. Now, Paula, real simple question for you, Paula. Rattles, yes or no?
I think it's a confidence thing.
Okay.
Either way, don't make no difference. You can use them as floats, keep your bait raised up if you're fishing the bottom. But I think it's more of the catfish go by sense, not sight. They don't go by sight. Go smell, their tongues. Stop. Ow! But they're not. They don't go by sight.
I got you. So in your particular experience, you don't see a big difference when using them or not using them. That'd be a safe argument.
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's about the same.
Okay.
I just don't. I use them. I've got the cat and shads, and they're great. They're big. They rattle real loud, but it's like a barge bite. I'm not big into the barge bite.
I got you. I know that it seems that's a question I've heard a lot of people ask, especially to the pros, the very experienced fishermen. The subject of demon dragons versus rattles, things like that always come up. I've got my opinion. Everybody else has theirs. And again, I don't know if it's just maybe the bodies of water are different. Maybe it's the style of fishing that's maybe a little different. Maybe one leads more to the other, or like you said, maybe it's just a confidence thing. That's what gives you confidence. You use it, so yeah, use it.
I agree with that. I think that's what it is. I say time and time again,
Joe, stop.
whatever bait you think works best for you, or whatever rig, this rig that I talked about, Stan hates when I use this. To me, he's like, that's old school. And heck, most times y'all have seen me. I'll put a rock on there because I don't have sinkers to lose. So I'll have a rock on the bottom, and y'all have seen me catch 20-pound flatheads like that. But
that's right.
That's just, I'm old school. I am, and this is what I was learned. And this rig right here, you can catch everything from panfish to sharks and saltwater with this. So I mean,
that's right.
That's just, but it's confidence. I think if you feel more confident using that rattle, you're going to fish it longer. As soon as, you get something else, you think, oh, well, the rattle's not on there, I'm not getting a bite. What are you going to do? You're going to put that rattle on and fish it longer. So you're going to get more bites. You're going to get more bites on the rattle because you feel like that gives you more confidence. And I truly believe that. So be confident in whatever rig you're using, and you will catch more fish on whatever rig it is. That's just my opinion. I'm a simple kind of guy. But
look, a saying that I've heard all my life: the Native American rain dance. You know why it works? Because they don't quit dancing until it rains.
Me and the Indians here.
If you've got confidence in it, you're going to use it. You're going to make it work.
All right. Miss Paula, we've been an hour and a half now. Thank you so much for hanging in.
Yes, ma'am.
You've got some, normally I'm the one with the little granddaughters jumping all over, and we know Creole's got his young ones to put to bed and stuff. Is there anything that you would like to say before you jump on out of here? We know that I want to say something. If any of y'all out there haven't gone and checked out Miss Paula's Fishing with Paula Smith, the link is out in the description.
Yes.
Please do yourself a favor. Go check that out. She promised me a while ago that she was going to start putting more videos on YouTube, and Paula Smith is an angler of her words. She did, and she's been putting them out. So go check out the fish that she catch. Y'all will be you're going to learn something, even on those small little clips. You'll learn how to fight fish. That's what I do. I try to watch every single person. Everybody fights it a little different, does little things. You will learn stuff. So go check out Fishing with Paula Smith.
Thanks. I appreciate everybody's support and I don't know. It's just like I love you guys to death. It's like I look for y'all. I mean, I might not get to watch it as often as I want to, but I just, like last night, I just wanted to pop in and say, hey guys, I just want to say hi, because I was tired. But the fishing community is a great community as long as we keep it great.
Yep.
It's like I wanted to get down there and fish for you, Creole, and I'm coming. I promise you, I'm coming. I'm coming to Virginia. I'm coming everywhere.
Hey, I'm ready. I'm ready when you are.
And anybody wants to come to Tennessee, just come on.
Miss Paula, I don't know if you can see that, but there's Brandon Catfishing Dreams. He's going, Paula. And we all feel that same way.
We got the wave going on in chat. I don't
know. Y'all are the greatest. I mean, when we were coming back from that tournament last weekend, I said, I'm gonna go live and explain that I'm not in the tournament, Well, what are you gonna do that for? Because these people watch, they watch and keep up with you, and I think it would be more personable if I go live than if I, text something and post it. And I wanted everybody to know that I was okay, and this was my reason, I mean, I guess it's because I care and they care, y'all care, so. Y'all just don't know. Y'all made.
But I will tell you this, Paula, 110% confidence that because you chose for safety not to hit that water, you saved somebody's life that you don't know. Because somebody saw you make that choice that you'll never meet, that you don't know, and said, well, you know what? If somebody like Paula can say, hey, you know what? It's not safe. I bet you somebody else out there made that same choice, and you probably saved their life, and you don't know it.
I don't know if I did or not, but I hope that I never teach somebody wrong, you know, and I don't think that making the right decision is a wrong thing.
That's right.
If your gut ain't feeling right, it's probably nose on, spot on. So
absolutely.
And if anybody's got any advice for me, I'll be glad to hear it and take it. I just love everybody in catfish, and I
do. That's right.
You do too, don't you, buddy?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And that right there, what you got there, Paula, that's what fishing is.
That's it.
Future catfishing right there.
That's it.
Yeah. And he loves it. He really, literally loves it. And they want to go out on the boat, you know, but I won't take them both together because it's too dangerous. I can watch one of them, but I can't watch them both.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Creole, anything else?
Oh, brother, I was just so honored to have Miss Paula on the show tonight, man. I don't have the words.
Oh, y'all need to stop that. I am just a simple country girl. You know, I'm not. Y'all need to bring me back down to 5 foot.
Nah.
Well,
what's the fun in
Paula,
that?
We're gonna have you back on. We're gonna have you back on when you hit that 100-pound mark. So.
I want it so bad.
In about 3 or 4 weeks, you can expect Paula Smith back on.
Yeah.
I see it happening within the next month. So.
Yeah.
Stan, I hope you're right. If you are, you will get a surprise in the mail. I'll send you a gift certificate or something.
You don't gotta send nothing to me, Paula. I appreciate you being out there. You just keep doing what you're doing.
I will. Thank you guys. Y'all are the best. Y'all are absolutely the best.
All right, and
everybody.
I kept everybody on that. Y'all go check out DMV over there. He's doing that tournament up in DC. Great thing they got going on. I love what's happening in the catfish community right now. Y'all keep doing what you're doing. We love y'all. We'll see y'all next Friday. I'll be she getting it. I'll be out there stand day morning, 8:00. We'll see y'all then.
You quit that.
Have a great night.